Imagine for a moment a world where the next global conflict isn't waged on Earth but in the vast expanse of space. What would that look like? Suddenly the canvas of warfare isn't limited to borders drawn on a map or the depths of the sea. It's infinite, boundless, and dark. This is the concept of space warfare, a potential reality that we need to grapple with as technology propels us further into the cosmos. Now you might be thinking, space warfare? That sounds like science fiction. And you wouldn't be entirely wrong, but just as we've seen the line between science fiction and reality blur in areas like artificial intelligence and quantum computing, the same could happen with space warfare. As our technology advances, space is becoming more accessible. We're not just talking about sending astronauts or billionaires into orbit. We're talking about the deployment of thousands of satellites, the construction of space stations, and even the potential for lunar bases. Space is no longer just a frontier for exploration, but also a strategic high ground. Satellites in particular play a vital role in this scenario. They're not just for catching your favorite TV shows or navigating to the nearest coffee shop. They're crucial for communication, weather forecasting, military intelligence, and surveillance. In a space war scenario, these satellites could become targets. Imagine the chaos if our global communication network was suddenly disrupted. The impact would be felt across every facet of society, from our economy to our national security. And it's not just speculation. Major powers on Earth are already recognizing space as the next potential frontier for conflict. The United States, China, Russia, they're all investing heavily in space technologies, not only for exploration or scientific advancement, but also for defense and security. The reality of space warfare could be closer than we think, with major nations already investing heavily in space technologies. The vast expanse of space might just be the next stage for global conflict. But what does that mean for us, and how do we navigate this new frontier? Stay tuned as we delve deeper into this intriguing and somewhat unsettling possibility. Who are the key contenders in this hypothetical space war? The United States, China, and Russia are currently leading the race. Let's start with the United States, a pioneer in space exploration. From landing the first man on the moon in the late 60s to sending numerous rovers to Mars, the United States has a long and storied history in this arena. With NASA's Artemis program aiming to return humans to the moon by 2024, the United States continues to push the boundaries of space exploration. But it's not just about exploration. The United States military branch, the Space Force, is dedicated to protecting American interests in the cosmos, underscoring the country's commitment to maintaining space superiority. Moving on to China, a nation that has made rapid advancements in space technology. China has been catching up fast, becoming the third country to independently send humans into space and the first to land a rover on the far side of the moon. Their ambitious plans don't stop there. China aims to establish a manned lunar base and conduct manned missions to Mars in the future. In terms of military capabilities, China is reported to have developed an array of space weapons, including anti-satellite missiles, showcasing its readiness to defend its interests in space. Lastly, let's not forget Russia, the country with a rich space heritage. From launching the first satellite, Sputnik, to sending the first man, Yuri Gagarin, into space, Russia has been a key player in space exploration. Today, Russia continues its space programs through the Roscosmos State Corporation, focusing on both manned and unmanned missions. When it comes to military capabilities, Russia, like the United States and China, also possesses anti-satellite weaponry, and has been known to conduct sophisticated space operations. These nations with their formidable space capabilities would likely be at the forefront of any space conflict. The consequences of a war in space would be dire, not just for the nations involved but for humanity as a whole. Imagine for a moment a battlefield not confined to the surface of our planet, but extended to the vast expanse of outer space. This isn't a scene from a science fiction movie, but a potential reality we could face. The fallout from such a conflict would be far-reaching and potentially disastrous. One of the most immediate consequences of warfare in space would be the creation of space debris. This isn't just a case of littering on a cosmic scale. Space debris comprised of defunct satellites, spent rocket stages, and fragments from disintegration and collisions poses a significant threat to both manned and unmanned spacecraft. A single collision can create thousands of new fragments, each capable of causing further damage. This could result in a cascade effect known as Kessler syndrome, where the density of objects in low Earth orbit is high enough that collisions could cause a chain reaction. rendering space activities and the use of satellites unfeasible for many generations. This leads us to another alarming consequence: the potential isolation of Earth. Our planet is encircled by a network of satellites that facilitate everything from global communications and weather forecasting to navigation and scientific research. If this network were to be destroyed or severely disrupted, we could find ourselves cut off not only from each other, but also from the wealth of knowledge and resources that space exploration provides. But perhaps the most chilling consequence of space warfare is the potential loss of human life. As nations continue to push the boundaries of space exploration, it's likely that more and more people will find themselves living and working in space. A war fought in this frontier would put these lives at risk. Beyond the physical and technological implications, we must also consider the ethical implications of warfare in space. The very idea challenges the principles upon which space exploration was founded: peaceful exploration for the benefit of all mankind. A war in space would have far-reaching and potentially catastrophic consequences for all of humanity. Let's hope that this is a reality we never have to face. The thought of a war in space is terrifying, but what measures exist to prevent this from happening? The good news is that there are indeed international agreements and treaties in place designed to prevent conflicts from escalating into the cosmos. The most significant among these is the Outer Space Treaty, officially known as the Treaty on Principles Governing the Activities of States in the Exploration and Use of Outer Space, including the Moon and other celestial bodies. Quite a mouthful, isn't it? This treaty, signed in the pivotal year of 1967, is a cornerstone of international space law. It establishes that the exploration and use of outer space shall be carried out for the benefit and in the interests of all countries. This essentially means that space is to be used for peaceful purposes and is not subject to national appropriation or occupation. The treaty also prohibits the placement of nuclear weapons or any other weapons of mass destruction in orbit or on celestial bodies. This is a critical point. It means that no country can claim ownership over any part of outer space or use it as a battleground. Beyond the Outer Space Treaty, there are other agreements like the Rescue Agreement, the Liability Convention, and the Registration Convention. All these collectively form a framework that governs space activities. Furthermore, international organizations like the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs work tirelessly to promote peaceful uses of outer space. They aim to foster international cooperation in space exploration and technology, and their efforts are instrumental in preventing space from becoming a new frontier for warfare. While the threat of space warfare is real, there are measures in place to prevent such a catastrophe. The challenge lies in ensuring these measures are respected and enforced. As we continue to explore and expand into space, the question remains: will our future be one of conflict or cooperation? As humans, we have an innate curiosity to explore the unknown, and space is the ultimate frontier. But as we reach out into the cosmos, it's essential to consider the potential for peaceful space exploration and cooperation between nations. One shining example of this is the International Space Station, a beacon of global collaboration that orbits our planet every 90 minutes. It's a testament to what we can achieve when we set aside our differences and work together for the greater good. Space exploration holds vast potential benefits for humanity. It's not just about planting flags on distant worlds. It's about the advancements in science and technology that come with it. The race to the moon in the 60s, for instance, led to numerous technological breakthroughs we now take for granted, from satellite television to GPS navigation. Moreover, the exploration of space can help us better understand our own planet. It can lead to discoveries about climate change, natural resources, and even the origins of life itself. Space exploration could also open up new opportunities for resources, from mining asteroids for rare minerals to harnessing solar power directly from the sun. However, it's not just about what we can gain. It's about the legacy we leave behind for future generations. The cosmos is a shared resource, a common heritage that belongs to all of humanity. It's up to us to ensure it remains a place of exploration and discovery, not conflict and warfare. As we stand on the precipice of a new era in space exploration, it's important to remember the words of the late, great Carl Sagan. In our obscurity, in all this vastness, there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. The Earth is the only world known so far to harbor life. There is nowhere else, at least in the near future, to which our species could migrate. Visit, yes. Settle, not yet. Like it or not, for the moment, the Earth is where we make our stand. The future of space may be uncertain, but one thing is clear: the choices we make today will shape the cosmos of tomorrow.